I've tried that, but it's not where I want to be. But it's taking so long. I'll take you on, and I'll take.
So lonely, I feel like we're going backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again. So lonely,
tried that, but it's not where I want to be. But it's taking so long. I'll take you on, and I'll take you on. So move along, 'cause it's my turn, and don't forget it. I'm blacking out, won't you give me what I need? There's no way out, so I'll do what I can. It's taking so long. I've got a lot to learn. Did you give something to do? But it's taking so long. I'll take you on, and I'll take you on. So move along, 'cause it's my turn, I'll take you on, and I'll take you on. So move along, 'cause it's my turn, I'll take you on, and I'll take you on. So move along, 'cause it's my turn, and don't forget. Something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. And come along and be the weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. I've been swimming in blood. So just give me something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. And come along and be the weight of my heart is the weight of the sea.
good defending by Zimmerman. Trick from Maddison, goes for a
Get
shot.
in.
What a goal from James Maddison! He's done it again.
I'll give you everything. Close the door, let it seem like you're too far. I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything.
Hello and welcome to NR1 Live, and they are there at Brentford. There's Max Aarons, Emi Buendia, Todd Cantwell, and myself. Daniel Farker looking on at the brand new stadium down at Brentford as well. I've seen a few shots of it today. It looks absolutely fantastic. Well, we are here, Rob, in the dark. Very strange for us. Our first ever away game. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to seeing the game, because normally when you go away and it's not on Sky or whatever, or one of the TV companies, you just listen to it on the radio or just read the report the next day. To actually see it, I'm looking forward to it.
I just want to point out these behind us as well. I don't know if people can see them at home. These lights. That's your sunbed, isn't it? That's what you normally go to at night to get that tan.
I could do a few of them on my garden. They make the grass grow in the winter, apparently.
But that's it, isn't it? They're out there to make the pitch grow, keep the grass growing, so it's nice and lush and green for the players to be on the next time they come home.
They're spoilt now, aren't they?
Yeah. What did you have in your day, Rob? It was a
we had mud.
bucket and spade, wasn't it? Because it was
we
like
had
sand.
mud through the middle, from one goal to the other goal, down the middle. It was just mud. You was a winger, so you had the grass on the wing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So obviously you never had no bobbles. That made it difficult for those passes, long passes and whatever.
Poor you.
I know.
Well, mate, tonight's game, it's a very different to the games that they've had so far this season, isn't it? A lot of teams have played Norwich so far this season have probably sat back and let Norwich have the ball. Going to be very different from Brentford tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are having a bit of a hangover from last year, because they were fantastic last year, and they're not in the top 10 or top 12. I'm pretty sure of that this year. So, but whatever team they put out, they are a good outfit, and I think this is going to be the toughest test so far for Norwich.
And they're a club that's been kind of there or thereabouts for the last few seasons, toying with the idea of possibilities of getting to the Premier League. They've now lost a couple of their big strikers in the summer. They've gone out and bought Tony from Peterborough, who's already got 7 goals this season, and I think they're the league's top goal scorers with 12. So they're still a massive threat going forward.
No, absolutely, and you just think when we used to play Brentford, we were just a small team, weren't they? They were a small team. So to get so close to the Premier League last year was an unbelievable achievement for them. And I think they've got a new stadium now. They've got great infrastructure as well. And like I say, selling their 2 players, Watkins and Berahino, I mean that must be a big loss for them as well. But like I say, getting this guy Tony in as well, and he's like hit the ground running. 7 goals is pretty exceptional, really. So it's going to be a tough test, and it like Norwich to be at their best today.
Yeah, and don't forget, today's match is available on iFollow, on the iFollow platform. Season ticket holders will have the game automatically made available for them via their email. Those of you who are not season ticket holders, you can purchase a matchday pass for £10. Just log on to canaries.co.uk and follow the instructions. Fortunately, we don't have to do that. We're going to get a feed into the studio for us to watch tonight, Rob. But who are you looking forward to see? Because we've got the 2 lineups tonight. We can see Norwich's now. A couple of little changes. Hugel's out. Vrancic is in. So I think is that a surprise to you or expected?
Vrancic has been the match winner of the last 2 games. And I was listening to the manager's views of him before the game on Saturday, and what they were speaking about him after, and they're saying he's getting to that age now where he's not able to do 90 minutes at full tilt. He's a sort of like an impact player, which he has been for the last 2 games. But I mean, if you're a player, you want to play from the beginning, and he's probably earned his place tonight. But to replace Hugel, who I think has been quite disappointing over the last couple of home games. Basically not all down to his own fault, because I think the way that Norwich have played the controlled possession football up to the final third probably doesn't suit him. So he's probably been on the pitch wanting like balls from out wide and deeper, but they never came. And so like ultimately he's been sacrificed. And like I say, so to play Vrancic today, I think they just play one up the front today as well.
And do you think the team's been picked as well because of the way Brentford play? They're not a team that's going to be based on physicality and trying to see a game out to get a 0-0. They're going to come at Norwich and try and play football. So that would suit probably Norwich a little bit more, and Vrancic in particular. They're the big physical team. Yeah,
what it does, it gives you that extra man in midfield. But when Norwich get possession, hopefully your Buendias and your Campwells will have more space to receive it and higher up the pitch. And like I say, with Skip as well, and Rudd, who's been doing well as well. You've got players that can pick passes out. The last 3 games they've played, they've had to thread it through wire needles. You know what I mean? And that's so difficult. So hopefully Brentford will be on the front foot tonight. And when Norwich get the ball, I think Norwich have got enough ability to play round them and into pockets of space further up the pitch.
And the manager, Daniel Farke, has been a little bit critical in terms of trying to get his players up for games as the hangover from the Premier League. And this is his press conference from yesterday.
We have to make sure that by all our great appearances 2 years ago, that we still value what we're doing at the moment, and that we still value a bit the situation we are in. So perhaps a bad example, and I'm a bit too old for this stuff, but imagine one of my youngest players, so 18, 19 years old or something like this, and the most beautiful girl in their town asks him for a date anyhow. Yeah, Judy or whatever her name is, and ask if she can go out with him to the cinema and spend a lovely date night anyhow. The player would be buzzing and excited and whatever. Asks his mother to iron his clothes and goes to the hairdresser for a new haircut and buys some flowers or whatever, and thinks, "Boy, this is the greatest day of my life. It's fantastic, wonderful." Yeah, but if this young guy was already together with, let's say, Keira Knightley or whatever, he would say, "Oh, Judy, she's all right anyhow." But to be honest, new haircut is anyhow expensive, and cinema is busy, and I'm a bit too lazy to buy some flowers. Probably I will stay on the sofa and have a pint with my mate and watch a game of football.
What are you reading into that?
What's that one out there? What is that about?
I think the analogy he's trying to use is that it's difficult when you've been where you have been and you've got what you've got to then try and pick yourself up to think, actually, we want to try and get there again. I think that's the analogy he's using, isn't it?
Obviously, you're more intelligent than me, mate, to pick the bones out of that, because I was just listening to that like open mouth. What is he going on about? And only he knows what he's going about. Obviously, there was some sort of like thought process behind it, but ask me to pick the bones of it, mate. I don't know.
But is that what it's about, though? Is he trying to say that, you know, the Premier League's the place where everybody wants to be? We've been there once again. It's difficult to get there again. We're quite happy where we are in the Championship, because he knows he's trying to say to his players, you've got to strive to Keira Knightley again. You can't be there settling for Julie. Surely, is that what he's saying?
Hey, some Julies are all right, I'm telling you. No, like you say, if you look at it in that way, Norwich win the Premiership, they've come back down, basically. They were a really successful side in the Championship and whatever. Like, obviously, everyone wants to get back to the Premiership. So, is he saying like quell the expectations? Don't expect us to win every game. Yeah. Don't expect us to go to Brentford, where you think we should win because it's only little old Brentford. Yeah. But Brentford are a good side now. So, he's probably trying to say that, and whether like no one has the right to win every single game. You have to earn that right. You know what I mean? And like I say, but what we're saying is that Norwich should be winning those sort of games. If they want to get to the Premier League, they've got to be win the 3 games in a week, which they've done. They've got to go to Brentford with aspirations of not getting beat, at least. You know what I mean? And winning the game, because if they do that, it sort of like puts a marker down as well. You know what I mean? And if Norwich go and win at Brentford tonight, that's not only 4 games on the trot, but going to Brentford, where it's a tough place to go, people in the rest of the teams in the league start looking at Norwich and they sort of like, you get that fear factor. Yeah. You know what it's like. You know what I mean? When you play a team and you're looking and you're on the pitch and you look across and they're just the other side walking out and say, wow, they've got some good players. You're sort of like giving them a like that edge before you actually kick off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what they've got to get, and I think they're good enough to get that. Don't kid yourself. Norwich have got good players, and I would say Norwich have got top 3 best squad in the division if you go man for man.
No, they have, and we're going to talk to another legend now in the Gun Club. We're going to talk to Simeon Jackson, but just before we do that, just before we join you, Simeon, I know there's somebody in the Gun Club tonight who's watching the game called Emily and Harrison. We'd like to make a shout out to. They're watching the game tonight, behind the glass with you. Simeon, we're just talking about the fact that Norwich have had those good 3 results recently, and Daniel Farke saying, you know, you can't expect us to be beating teams 4 and 5-0 every single week because you've come out of the Premier League. You've got to earn the right again, and that's a big point, isn't it? Is there a little bit of a hangover, even though they're winning games? They don't seem to be smashing through teams at the minute, but is that because of just its early season?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of those things, as you're saying. You know, it's a bit of hangover, a bit of how last season ended, and you know everything that's going on in general. So I think putting everything together, yeah, it was going to be a tough start, and obviously the gaffers mentioned that. But I think now, you know, with getting some momentum, getting some points on the board, you're hoping for Norwich to go out and get a result. It's obviously tough, as we're saying. You know, Brentford are a really good side. They're playing well. You know, it's going to be an open game, I reckon. And, it should be good. Hopefully Norwich can get a result.
You talked about being an open game. Is this going to suit Norwich a little bit better? Because teams have come up and set up against Norwich quite defensively, and they played quite physical teams so far this season. Brentford and Bristol City, and not so much probably Millwall, but the next few teams they're going to face are going to approach the game differently to Norwich and to the other teams. And that could open things up for Norwich a bit?
You hope so. I think, the way Norwich do play, you know, the expansive, free-flowing football, you hope that Brentford, you know, that way inclined as well, they'll open up the game. So we'll see how it goes. But I think away from home, you always want, lock up shop. Obviously, that's not the way Norwich play. But, you know, you rather go in and make sure you have a solid base first.
And what's it like being in there tonight, Simeon, with the fans? Because it's been a while since they've been at Carrow Road, and look, Norwich are massive advocates for getting fans back into the grounds. Is it nice to see a few faces and mix with a few of the fans, even though they can't watch the games live?
It's brilliant, you know, just being here, and it's great that the club's been able to do that and get the fans to be together and support the boys is brilliant. It's better being here watching the game than being at home.
And what do you make tonight? We were talking beforehand with Rob about how Hugel's not playing tonight. They're forming a slightly different system. Pookie's up front on his own. Is that a choice because of the type of opposition they're playing, or do you think he just doesn't fancy Hugel at the minute and wants to make a change?
I think if you look at, you know, as you were saying earlier, Vrancic has come on and been the match winner in the last few games, so, you know, deserves a start. But at the same time, that that's still something, having Hugo to come off the bench and change things up, it will be great. So, I think he's deserved his chance. So we'll see if that works for sure.
Well, Simeon, enjoy the first half. I'm sure you're going to probably have a drink and a pie. Lucky you. We'll see you at half-time.
Great.
So, look, we talked a little bit about the system that probably Brentford are going to play and Norwich are going to play. It'll go back to a single striker again tonight, then, won't it? Which isn't something they've played for the first part of this season at all.
No, absolutely. Especially the last couple of games as well. Pukki's been sort of playing in a deeper role, but he's the main forward again today. But
will he be happier though? Because he scored on Saturday.
So, yeah.
Is he going to be happy going back into that role when he's just scored from playing almost as a number 10?
I think he will today, because we're saying Brentford won't sit back. Brentford will play expansive football, so they will be on the front foot. So he should get more room today. Against the teams here. Honestly, it's Ivan Eadles. He's going to have to be so perfection. The runs have got to so deep and everything as well. There's not a lot of space behind him. Hopefully, he can run onto them balls, because Buendia can play them, Cantwell can play them. Ship can play them. So if he's got space behind him, he's such a good a run maker. He doesn't get offside at all. His timing of runs are fantastic. So with space beyond the Brentford defence, which there will be tonight, hopefully he can do it. And like I say, it was a fantastic finish on Saturday. So that should make him buzzing and whatever. And looking forward to tonight's game.
Yeah, and we can see his finish now in this little roundup of the last 3 games, the 3 wins that Norwich had. Take a look at this.
He's going to find it tough today because that
Krul's kick has gone all the way into the penalty area for Ladapo to score for Rotherham. One touch now onto Aarons, who's got a crossing opportunity from the right, and it comes, and it's an own goal by Michael Ehigwe. Crosses the ball in, and there's a stretch, and a defender gets there first. Buendia has been taken down. That could be a penalty. It is. Dries his hands on his shirt, runs up to the ball now, and puts the penalty in. And Norwich City are in front for the first time in this game with 95 minutes on the clock. Can't find a teammate. Birmingham clear it. Rook wins it back fairly. Now here's Buendia with a chance to thread it through to Eadie. Edge of the penalty area. Shot comes in, and Norwich have found the way through, and it's Mario Vrancic who tucks it away from the edge of the penalty area. And then Cantwell picks up possession, gives it to Buendia, who has threaded it through to Pukki. Pukki into the penalty area. Good chance for Norwich early on, and Pukki takes it. Inside 3 minutes, Norwich have the lead, and that is vintage Teemu Pukki. Jacobson goes along this time. Headed into the penalty area there by Wheeler, and there's hesitation, and Wickham are going to score. Kashket turns it in after Grant Hanley left the ball to Tim Krul. No one took control of the situation. Inwards towards the penalty area. Infield, Aarons plays it back to Vrancic. Vrancic 20 yards out. Goes past a couple of challenges. Goes down right on the edge of the area. Free kick to Norwich City. It's 1-1, but it's a chance here for Norwich City. Free kick. Buendia and Vrancic over it. It is going to be Mario Vrancic who curls it beautifully into the top corner. Mario Vrancic, for the second time in the space of a few days, has put Norwich in front late in the game at Carrow Road.
I think we're just saying as well, it's very clever what Mario Vrancic did during that free kick. Because if you look where the actual incident took place, it's much closer to the 18-yard box, and he actually pulls it back about another yard just to give him that range.
Absolutely. Players of those ability that can do that, they sort of I think they need about 22 or 23 yards. That was probably about 19.
Yeah.
So he brought it back another couple of yards in perfect.
And those couple of yards make all the difference. You take a look at this. This is Mario practicing his free kicks in training, and it's not too dissimilar position. Again, that's why he's just getting that extra couple of yards. I mean, that's a shocker. It's the big man in the centre. That's you right in the face there, Rob. That's it, isn't it? Yeah. But this is it though, isn't it? If you practice them in training, you get those ones out of your system. You get a feel. It's almost like just repetitive stuff, isn't it? The more you carry out these free kicks, it becomes muscle memory, and you almost do it without looking. And eventually, he does get one where he wants it to go. Eventually, but this is the difference. But he's got to keep practicing.
Absolutely. Like I say, you can practice.
Boom.
At the end of the day, you cannot practice enough. This guy's done it for a few years. To be fair, not on Saturday was the first time he's done it. But that is why he does it, because he's on that training pitch at the end of every training session and doing it, and prepared to hit the mannequin, prepared to hit it over, because if he knows if he hits enough, like you said, the muscles and the brain starts sinking in really. And like you say, he probably pulled that ball back on Saturday to where he was hitting them there. So he's got that picture in his mind.
And it's definitely no fluke, because we've got a tweet from, I think we've got Maddison as well. I think we see Mario's stats there. I mean, he's obviously in the side today, 6'2", 10 goals and 7 assists in the championship season when they went up. He's been really effective for Norwich, hasn't he, in his time? And were you a little surprised not to see him feature so much in the Premier League?
Maybe. Again, for some reason, the manager looks at that 31 years old and thinks, he's more of an impact player. Maybe free kicks are probably given away cheaply at the end of the game rather than at the beginning of the game. And like I said, if he starts at the game, it'd be interesting to see if he plays 90 minutes tonight, because they were saying, I listened to the radio on Saturday after the game, he's the type that will come on, start, and be taken off after 65 minutes. And then I say 25 minutes, and when like cheap free kicks are given on the edge of the boxes because of tiredness and whatever.
Is he almost like a kicker for American football?
Yeah,
you need to
absolutely.
Get him on for the free kicks. And as I say, it's no fluke. James Maddison said this on Twitter during the week. Mario is one of the best free kick takers I've ever seen or I've ever practiced with. Doesn't surprise me that they fly in the top corner quite regularly in big moments. And that just shows, doesn't it, someone of the quality of James Maddison saying, I used to do it in training with him. And this is the difference, isn't it? They do this regularly. Yeah. Eventually they come off, and they come off in those big moments. Yeah, no, absolutely. And like for someone like Maddison to say that, he scored some fantastic goals himself. For him to say that Vrancic is that good is pretty special. But we've seen it. And like you say, going back to the practicing and whatever, like every kid you talk about, it's, listen, you cannot practice enough. After training session, hit 20 balls, hit 30 balls and whatever, you might only score 1 or 2, but then the next week you might score 3 or 4, and then it's 5 or 6. And then all of a sudden you just get this unbelievable self-belief, inner confidence that you can do it. Yeah, but that was like Ian Crook back in the day, wasn't it? Ian Crook would be on the training pitch after everybody else had gone in, practicing free kicks. So nothing's changed. It shows that if you keep doing it and keep repeating it, it does come off. Yeah, definitely. And looking at Wickham's goal at the weekend, we have to take a little look at that as well. It's you were talking about actually the defenders should have better. This header, for someone to have a free header there is not right. You've got the centre half and the left back, neither of them reacting to that long ball. And it's travelled like 40 yards. One of them should at least have challenged him, basically, but they just stood still. So in terms of Hanley then, should he have cleared it? Was he expecting Krul to come out and claim it? Where do you push the blame? Centre half blame the goalkeeper, goalkeeper's blame the centre half. We've got Gunny coming on in a minute. I know exactly what he'd be saying. It would be the centre half's fault. And on this occasion, I think it is the centre half's fault, because it gets nodded down and Grant is there and he's sort of like waiting for Krul to come about 5 or 6 yards, where he could have easily just volleyed it out and whatever. And I'd say to any centre half, what do you lose there? You lose nothing. All you're giving away is a corner or a throw in, basically. If Grant would have sort of like taken responsibility and just kicked, he might have got a telling off from the goalkeeper, but it wouldn't have been a goal. And that's what Gunny say. And do you know what? It shows how much stats influence people's decisions over in recent years as well, because we look at stats now, and he was actually named in the Championship Team of the Week despite that error, which essentially cost you a goal. So you can cost you a goal, but you can still be in the Championship Team of the Week. And these are the why. 94% pass completion is pretty good, isn't it? Oh, absolutely. You mean if this hadn't happened? I said before the game started on Saturday, I'm not expecting the Wickham to score a goal, because I think these two are really, really good centre-halves, along with Zimmerman as well. Norwich have got 3 really good centre-halves now, and I was really surprised that Grant, being that experienced, didn't take that responsibility just to clear the ball. It's just one of them ones you put your hands up, it's my fault, and get on with it, and he's the type that will get on with it. But in terms of technical ability, I think the 2 centre-halves in Norwich now have got very good technical ability. And they're going to have that. The way the Norwich play, and they want to build up from the back, they've got to be comfortable on the ball. Test from tonight as well, because they're going to have a lot of lively players around them. Probably something they haven't faced so far this season. No, because it's been sort of like 1 against 2. Even none against 2 at Stanley, because the teams have been defending so deep. Brentford will get at them tonight, and they will put them under pressure. And this will be the toughest test they've had so far this season. Yeah, and you mentioned Gunny just a little while ago. Gunny, I don't know if you heard Rob blaming the goalkeeper or not. I didn't blame the goalkeeper. Whose fault is it, Gunny? Is it the defender's mistake? He should clear it.
Look, I've been listening to you all the way through there, and it's just a shame I can't see you. I'm actually jealous of Simeon Jackson being in the gun club, because I wanted the gun club fries. That's one thing I've got named after me is a plate of chips. So I think we could have done that. But no, I going back to the initial dissection of the goal, I think it was Ben Gibson who possibly could have went and challenged for the first ball. And that's where the sort of the situation came from. It was a knockdown header. I think Grant misjudged the speed of the ball that was going to come into the box, and I think he was looking to hold off the striker to let Tim come out and take it. And it was just a sort of a catalogue of not errors, but little mistakes. And, I think Tim could have probably been a bit braver as well and maybe gone through the striker. But, it was a ricochet and it fell into the back of the net. So, but I think at the end of the day was the positivity that Norwich showed. Grant Hanley obviously had a great game because he's been named in the team of the week. So, he carried on to, a high level performance. As Rob said, there's good technical aspects of both players. The passing that, they'll both be looking for the ball, both be looking for, feeding that ball into midfield and further forward. Ben Gibson gives you that balance with the left side, left foot. So, I think that the defensive setup is looking good. It's just the goal scoring where they probably need to, pick up on now. There's lots of possession, lots of possession in the final third. And it just needs that, delicate touches, delicate passes. Obviously Pookie's up front himself tonight. Vrancic has got himself into the midfield. So, they're away from home. So I'd imagine that they'll be looking to take advantage of the sort of few chances that they will get this evening.
And we're just hearing, Gunny, as well, a late change for Norwich. Quintilla's got injured apparently in the warm-up and Sorensen's coming in as left back. So the way Norwich was set up tonight, and probably without Hugel in the team, is that going to be a massive loss for Norwich? Because he's been effective so far this season, has he?
Yeah, no, he has. He's come in and done good things, and obviously been part of the winning team at Rotherham away, scoring the late penalty. But I'd imagine that Vrancic has managed to play himself into the team and the strength of his two late finishes, and I'm sure that the manager is hoping that he can carry on his good form. And he's given them the opportunity from the start of the game tonight instead of taking him on in the last 15-20 minutes. So yeah, I just hope that the change in the back line doesn't affect them. Sorensen obviously has been brought in, as backup, but at the same time his opportunity comes, and he's got that chance now to show the credentials he's got, and hope that he can fill in and do a good job.
Top man, Gunny, as always, we'll speak to you at half time. Thank you, mate.
Look forward to it, lads.
I mean, that's without Hugel in the team, is Quintilla missing a big miss for them? Because we were talking before the game, the kind of balls that Quintilla's put into the box have been kind of delivered with pace, whipped in around the 6-yard box. With Hugel not playing, that's somewhere that Pookie'd fit into, but that's not going to happen at all tonight, unless Sorensen is very similar to him. I don't know too much about Sorensen in terms of his abilities going forward.
Quintilla would have had the toughest
and
game.
This is him here, you can see him against Wickham, the deliveries he does put in.
There's no doubt about it. He's got a great delivery in that last third of the field. But these are against teams that have sat back and allowed him to get on the ball at that high up the pitch. I don't think I wouldn't have thought he would have been on the ball that high up the pitch this many times tonight, because you got to defend. You're gonna have to defend tonight.
Well, and he hasn't got the outlet he was possibly had in that game in terms of Hugel. But you were saying before the game as well. It's not kind of the service that Hugel wants. Essentially, is it? They're great balls in, probably more of a Pookie ball to get on the end of. But for a Hugel, you probably want to hang the ball up a little bit more. Yeah,
like I say, Hugel's a big striker. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, I think sometimes he just wants the left back or the right back, just as they go into the opposition half, just put long diagonals to the far post. You know what I mean? So it is just an old-fashioned battle ball, really, in the air. You know what I mean? Because he can do that. He's such a strong character. But even though he's putting them balls in, you know what I mean? Anyone needs to make good runs there. Whether you're 6 foot plus or even 5 foot plus, you should still be able to make runs. And the fact that he's putting in the balls in so regularly, you know what I mean, that he should be thinking, right, the next time I'm going to make the run across the front post. I'm going to make the run across the centre half and whatever. But he just seems to sort of I want to stay at the far post. I want the one, even if it's in the last one, I want it to be clipped to the far post rather than whipped around between the goalkeeper and the last defender. I don't want them balls. But hey, listen, if the team's playing that way, you've got to think, well, hang on a minute, they're not going to put it to the far post. I've got to make a run to the near post. And he hasn't seemed to be doing that. And that's what you've got to do.
And because Quintilla's been such an attacking force in terms of deliveries into the box, I mean, how does that change Norwich's plans too much going into this game? Or even Brentford's? How do they look at it now and think, do you know what, he's not played for Norwich yet, Sorensen's not played, let's play on him a little bit.
No, absolutely. You mean, the guys that are in the squad tonight, the manager think they're good enough to be in the first team. This is an opportunity, like Gunny's just said, this is an opportunity for Soren to say, listen, this is my chance now to stake a claim for a first team play. We don't know what's the matter with Quintea. It can't be too serious, you know what I mean? But whether it's like a muscle strain or whatever, it's probably 1 or 2 games. But he's definitely in the starting lineup tonight. So go out and show the manager, you were right to sign me in the summer. I'm good enough to play in this first team. He will be tested tonight at Brentford, like Quintea would have been tested defensively. We know what he can do offensively, but defensively, the back four and Skip and Rupp, they're going to be tested tonight. So Sorensen is a great opportunity, and as you know, any professional footballer that's waiting their chance, a new signing in the summer, Quintea's probably been the first choice. He's the second choice. Now the second choice has got to step up and say, listen.
Would he relish that? Look, he's now been chucked in, or would he like to think, I wish I'd had more preparation. I wish I'd known, I was going to weeks build up to it. Or was he going to think this is it? This is my go?
You know, sometimes it's best to be told half an hour before the kickoff is. Do you know what I mean? Because you haven't got time to worry. You haven't got time to sort of like think about anything that could go wrong. You think, right, I'm ready for this. You've got to be ready for that and whatever. Like, I mean, if you'd have known yesterday, would you have slept last night? Sometimes people worry about that. You know what I mean? So hopefully he's one of them ones like saying he should be ready. He's fit enough. Now is the opportunity to show what he can do.
We can have a quick look at the upcoming fixtures for Norwich. It's a busy schedule coming up, Rob. And you look at the teams they've got: Bristol City, the Swansea. All these teams are going to test Norwich, and Middlesbrough are going to test Norwich in a different way to what they have been so far this season.
Yeah, well, we said like the last. Don't get me wrong. 9 points in a week is a fantastic achievement for any football club. You can do no better than that. But no disrespect to Rotherham, Birmingham and Wickham, they're going to be in the bottom half of the table. You know what I mean? Norwich want to be in the top half of the table. Bristol City are in the top second. They're second. Millwall are in the top 5. Yeah. Swansea are there. These teams are all in the top 4. And they ain't going to be looking at Norwich and saying, listen, we're going to sit back and like let Norwich come on to us. We're going to attack Norwich. We know what to do. But if Norwich, we will sit back, but then we'll hit them on a counter. But what they've got are probably better players.
Okay, so very quickly, and these next run of games are probably going to be vital at the end of that to see exactly where Norwich are so far this season.
After that Coventry game, we will probably know where Norwich are in the league, and if they're in the top 5, top 6, we'd be talking about it and saying, listen, they've got a real chance.
Well, hopefully it's 3 points tonight. Enjoy the game. We'll see you at half time.
Jensen, Emi Marcondes.
I've been swimming at night. She's been calling on me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she's been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right. Can't forget what you said. When you're finished with you, babe, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. The way that my heart is, the way that the sea. Let it come, let it know, let it be. The way that my heart is, the way that the sea. She been living a dream. There's a blanket of cool water. She been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another crease in the wave.